Hello.
Hello, hello. Okay, great. We're live. Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. Welcome to another edition of Remote Assistant Scout. I'm here, Inga with my friend and colleague, Gerard. And Gerard, as you all probably know by now, is the guru for virtual assistants. He's been a virtual assistant himself for Richard Smith for the last 7+ years. And him and Richard have come together to help other loan officers, real estate agents, insurance agents, anybody pretty much that runs their own business per se, to be able to have extra help, grow their business without breaking the bank and hiring costs and training costs and having a full-time employee on staff. So with that said, I wanted to kind of just introduce you guys to Gerard if you haven't met Gerard in the past. Gerard does pretty much everything for Richard online and more. Not only does he run his own business as the Remote Assistant Scout, but he also does training, placing virtual assistants for other LOs and real estate agents and other professionals. But he also does all of Richard's business that Richard needs help with. So Gerard, go ahead and introduce yourself for those that have never met you or don't know who you are.
Yeah, so anyway, hello, straight from the Philippines. I'm Gerard. I'm Richard's virtual assistant turned business partner, and I've been working for Richard for more than 6 years now, and it's been great. It's really a privilege to work with Richard and grow professionally. And I'm really happy that I met him online, and everything is going well between us. So I really can't complain. And with you, Ms. Freeman, I know that you've hired virtual assistants before. So can you tell us what prompted you guys to hire a virtual assistant in the Philippines, not in India, not in Bangladesh?
Right. So, honestly, I was in the marketing business before I got into the mortgage business. And I was in video marketing sales, and we did a lot of, business for clients like professional, doctors, attorneys, dentists, and they would buy videos from the company that I worked for. And what I noticed was we had the best virtual assistants. And these virtual assistants literally made my sales job super simple because they would set up all my appointments for me. And they would work the same hours that we worked, even though that they were over in the Philippines. And they had great English. They had great skills with software and website development. They did a lot of things that I didn't have a clue how to do. They ran Salesforce for me. They would set up different landing pages and things that really made my life simpler was, in fact, based on that I had a virtual assistant. And the company that I work for hired lots of these virtual assistants to be able to help all the salespeople do better at their jobs. Because what they would do is they would go and grow my LinkedIn account, for instance. If 1 month they just focus on reaching out to a bunch of, professionals that I would want to essentially, have as potential clients. So what they would do is they would reach out on my behalf through my LinkedIn account as me, because I didn't have time to, because I was always on appointments that they were scheduled. So it really, really, really made my job a lot simpler. Now, if I had to go and reach out and create my own LinkedIn account and do all that activity on LinkedIn, schedule my own appointments, go to my own appointments, I really would not be a successful salesperson if I had to do all that stuff. So having a virtual assistant in any type of business where you have to do all of these things, it's like finding a diamond, because especially if you find a great virtual assistant like Gerard, you really have, hit the jackpot. I don't think that you could get anything better today for help than a good virtual assistant that knows exactly what you need and it can actually work those hours that you want them to work and be self-sufficient in that. So that's why I've had the privilege of working with virtual assistants, because it was already introduced to me before I even got into this industry. And now helping loan officers and real estate agents with virtual assistants has been such a blessing as well, because I see the results that people are getting and it's phenomenal. So Gerard, tell me this, you're doing a lot of work for Richard right now. Business is booming, right? I'm assuming everywhere. It's spring, people are busy, agents are going out on, buyer's appointments and listing appointments. LOs are closing loans left and right. And there's a lot of stuff that goes into both transactions. Even insurance is kind of, peaking right now because people are buying houses, they need homeowners insurance. So what happens to all of the leads that come in? Like, who handles that for Richard?
Well, that's a great point. I mean, we have an in-house virtual assistant that actually handles, our leads. Like, for example, it is quite a standard operating procedure for us to contact the lead within 5 minutes that they came into our system. And we have this follow-up system that, we need to call them like every day. For as long as, we don't get a hold of them. So the time that we get a hold of them, so that's the time that we need to determine if they're ready to purchase a home right now or whenever they'll be ready. And then, for example, there are leads that are not ready right now. They might be ready in a year, less than 6 months, or, less than a year, but more than 6 months. So we try to reach out to them, on a monthly basis, adding them into our database, adding them into our email campaigns, letting them know that we're always here whenever they're ready, whenever they have any questions with the home buying process, with mortgages, but we don't talk about rates. We don't talk about rates. We don't talk about the loan programs because I think we are not licensed, to do so. But what we do here is, to set a phone appointment or maybe an office appointment with Richard or for the rest of his loan officers.
Right. So Richard's super busy. Gerard's super busy. Everybody in Richard's office is really busy right now. This is the time of year that everybody's busy. But guess what? You still need to maintain the same level of activity today as when you were slow back in January and February, because that activity is what's going to keep you consistent through the year. So we talk about getting off that roller coaster. Yeah, right? And so, like, if Richard didn't have the help and he was just working the things that he normally does without filling his pipeline constantly, what would that look like in a few months?
I mean, we have different type of calls, every day. There's a different calls on a Monday for appointments. We have calls for the pre-approved. We have calls for the past client database, and we have follow-up calls to current leads or current pre-approved buyers that are not literally ready to purchase a home right now. And we do some texting too. So Richard's system in terms of follow-up is very tedious, and this is something that we are following religiously on a daily basis.
Awesome. Well, I know that most salespeople are not detail oriented. They don't have the capacity to just keep good notes for the most part, to have, keep good lists and to follow up because they're on to the next thing. I mean, it's not fun following up with people. It really isn't, because if you think about it, we talk about this all the time. You will get your yes after the 8th to 9th contact. Okay. So I don't know anybody that works for themselves as a loan officer, real estate agent, insurance agent, salesperson that can literally follow up 8 to 9 times. Think about it. All of the follow-ups that you get, do you think that that person is following up with you? I mean, it's not. It's somebody on their behalf that's sending out the emails, sending out the text messages, making the phone calls for them, correct?
Mm-hmm. Very true.
So, right. And so so Gerard, I mean, to the virtual assistants, I mean, let's be honest here. Do they get bored with this kind of, job? Because think about it. If salespeople don't want to do it, and they're not, they're not cut out for it, I shouldn't say, they're just not detail oriented enough to just be consistent on those follow-ups, and they're busy doing other things like closing deals, meeting clients. There's a million other things that go into transactions. But tell me the honest truth. Virtual assistants, do they like this job?
Yes. I mean, there are a lot of virtual assistants who specialized with telemarketing, doing some follow-ups and cold calling. But this is where, the conflict can or the conflict comes in, because if you expect a virtual assistant to do like a cold calling position, like the whole week, I mean, if you're going to put yourself into their situation, you will be burned out. That's the reason why, Richard recommends, an amalgam of tasks. Like, we can just do database for you, organizing your database, doing your social media, and perhaps do some writing for you. I mean, that would really depend as to what your business needs right now. If you want to be organized and, be in touch and stay top of mind of your leads, a virtual assistant can do that for you. And the catch here is that, you don't need to hire multiple people. You know what? I mean, a virtual assistants can do or can train themselves in doing a lot of things for you. And either way, a virtual assistant would really need training because, for example, I'm working for Richard, and if I go ahead and, maybe transfer to another client, I mean, I may not know what their systems are. So this is, the part wherein you need to be really open and training your virtual assistant if you want to save some money, because, this is the purpose of hiring someone in the Philippines, to cover some things for you, to act as your double, but at a fraction of a price. Won't you agree?
So you mentioned that you basically, you talk about farming your database. So calling past clients, right? Like, which is such a big deal and I say it's a big deal because I've been around this industry for 3 years now, and I know that maybe a quarter of the professionals that I work with actually call their past clients. And really, if you think about it, that's where your business is. So if you don't have time to call your past clients, shame on you, one. You should have somebody call your past clients on your behalf. So for instance, a virtual assistant can go into your past client database and make those calls on a monthly basis. So when you call a past database, well, you don't normally, right? You have somebody that does it in-house for Richard?
Oh, yes, we do. But what can you get
What's
from
that conversation? Yeah. What's right? I'm sorry, there's a lag.
I mean, what can you get from past database if you're going to farm your past database? Do you know, Ms. Freeman?
Right. So yeah. So typically we find that you get 1 to 2 referrals minimum for every 100 people that you talk to in your past database. That's including the husband and the wife or the partners, if it's a purchase of a house, or if it's a purchase of a, homeowner's policy. So with that said, if you think about it, having a virtual assistant call 100 people every month can increase your business by 1 to 2 transactions. Why not, right? That pays for the virtual assistant and then some. What does that conversation look like when you're as a virtual assistant calling a past database client?
It's really nothing fancy, it's just, hey, it's me, Gerard, calling from the Richard Smith team of S&P Mortgage Incorporated. And Richard asked me to give you a call, just trying to see how you are. And if you need anything at this point, I mean, if you have friends, family, and family members who are looking to purchase a home anytime soon and would love to get a mortgage, financing or consultation with no obligation, feel free to give us a call back and this number, and I'm going to send you some email, regarding the services that we offer, information about our team that you can look into. Simple as that.
And people, and generally your past clients already know, like, and trust you, so they're going to be nice to your virtual assistant. They're not going to tell them like, hey, Gerard, buzz off, I'm not interested. They're going to be like, hey, oh, that's so nice that Richard, thinking about you. Think about it. When you go to the doctor's office, does your doctor call you and to see how you're doing? No, the nurse calls you, right? The nurse calls you and says, hey, Dr. Smith was just calling, wants to make sure that you're doing okay after your surgery or after your procedure. So the same thing with calling your past database. Somebody else can call them for you, but if nobody's calling them for you, you're missing out on business. You're missing out on referable business. So if you guys have never contacted your past database, it's not too late. You can start today. You can start by hiring a virtual assistant if you don't have the time to do that. And the best way to hire a virtual assistant is how, Gerard?
Oh, yes. You can always reach us, at 281-394-0624, or you can visit our page, Remote Assistant Scout, send us a message there and we'll get back to you within 24 to 48 hours. I mean, this is where we come in because there's a lot of, for example, if we're going to do it yourself, and if this is your first time hiring a virtual assistant, even those, we have clients who have hired, virtual assistants before, on their own, and, they're trying to reach to us because we technically know how to detect the red flags in a virtual assistant. And there's a guarantee for you to, have the right virtual assistant for your business. So that's where we come in.
why do you think a lot of people don't hire virtual assistants? Why do you think that a lot of professionals that run their own mortgage shops or their own, as their own real estate agent, why don't they hire virtual assistants? What's the number one thing stopping people?
I think they're not very good in delegating. I mean, even my clients right now, I mean, they try to ask, I mean, what can I ask my virtual assistant to do? That is really the number one question. I mean, literally everything that can be done online, the virtual assistant can literally assist you in this area. So, I mean, I myself personally, I'm not really good at delegating. I'm not really sure why, but I'm hiring a virtual
You want to do
assistant.
everything yourself also? I'm not good at
Yes.
delegating either, but if someone was to say, like, here's a virtual assistant, this is what they're going to do for you, Inga, and they're going to make your life easier,
Mhm.
I'm on board, okay? But like, if I had to think of something like, okay, I'm going to hire a virtual assistant for my business, and they're going to have to do these, I have to give them a job, then that gets a little, sketchy for me. I can't do it. I'd rather someone be like, okay, here's your virtual assistant. They're going to do this, this, and this task for you, and that's it. But you guys, honestly, Gerard and Richard have all of the tasks that your virtual assistant can do. So when you come to them and ask them for
Right.
help and finding one, they can literally, based on your criteria, find a virtual assistant that fits your needs, give that virtual assistant training if you want, and instructions on what to do for your business. So it'd be like someone saying, here's a virtual assistant. They're all set to go. They just need access to your, last task, your systems that you have, and you just go do your job and they'll do theirs, right?
Yes, definitely. So yeah, I mean,
So
it's just
yeah,
really all about you figuring what area of your business really needs help with. And I
right.
believe,
So
a lot of calling, right?
right. So I think everyone that's watching this today, the one takeaway that you should take from this is that find the area of business that you're struggling to do. Okay, the area that you really don't enjoy, don't have time for, that you could be okay with letting go. No one's asking you to, give up your whole business and to a virtual assistant in the Philippines or anywhere else for that matter. They're just saying, like, okay, find some place that you can be replaced without you doing too much work that will actually benefit your business. If you can do that, if you can write down 2 things that you don't like doing, that if someone else did them for you, your business would grow, and that your life would be a lot easier if you literally had someone for 20 hours a week, then you definitely need a virtual assistant. I know that there's so many programs out. I see it all the time, like, a lead gen program here, or, people buy this program, that program. But the fact is, those programs are great, but the only reason they don't work for you 99% of the time is because you have nobody following up and implementing all the work. So don't waste your time on programs until you have help first, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you can invest into, getting or purchasing online leads, and then you can invest something like this, that's gonna literally help boost your business.
Absolutely. You guys, it's a small investment. I'm a huge proponent of getting help and delegating things and taking things off of your plate that you don't enjoy doing so that your business can grow. There's no excuses, whether you're doing, 0 transactions a month or 100 transactions a month in any type of business that you're in. If you want to grow your business, if you don't want to stay in the same place, if you want to get off that roller coaster that you've been on professionally, seeing really busy months and then really slow months, you need somebody to help you. And I think the best case scenario for the cost is to hire someone, like a virtual assistant.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's
Well,
all.
anyway,
I'm off my soapbox today. Yeah.
yes, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. And before wrapping up, I'd like to say hi to Mr. Clemente, Mr. Wright, Samuel, and Mr. South. I'll get back with you regarding the new set of resumes. And Mr. Brad, Ms. Springman, will you be
Yes.
going to be in Vegas
We'll be here.
for
I
the
will not be in
Freedom
Vegas.
Club event?
Yeah. I will not be in Vegas for the Freedom Club event this time around. So everyone that's going, have a great time. You're in for a great treat. I know Scott's going to be there, and he's got a really, really awesome program that he's going to share with loan officers. that will knock your socks off. One that honestly you'll need a virtual assistant for, I think. At least in my opinion, you'll need a virtual assistant for. So best of luck to everyone. Have an awesome, week. Have an awesome weekend, and we'll catch up with you guys next week, same time, same channel. And Gerard, are we gonna have a virtual assistant live next week?
Oh yes, we do. We'll have a virtual assistant guest.
All right, awesome. Well, looking forward to it, and I will see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.